the Footscray defence just held them up repeatedly. And they blocked it up, Footscray, with the numbers back there.
Bernie, which of your old sides is going to win?
Oh, you'd have to go for Footscray with your KB by about 40 points. So out of the centre, it's Romero. Footscray straight into attack. And there's a good mark in defence taken by Matthew Dent for the Lions. That centre half back. He moves the ball quickly and finds Freddie Chandler, who's always a terrific goal for the Lions. Probably lacks a little bit of class with his disposals, but you always get 100% out of Freddie Chandler. Oops. Oh, that certainly was interference, wasn't it, by Wind on Primus. He pushed him out of the contest very early on and then wins a free kick. Out to Steve Credial. West back to Credial. Credial over the top to Brad Weir. So Footscray attacking through the middle of the ground. The options open up forward. Hargraves couldn't take the mark. Wolf putting the pressure on and running out of the back line there. And kicking on his left foot is Brad Boyd. Short kick out, finds Johnny Barker.
Young Wolf actually has done a pretty good job in that third term against Hargraves. He started to pick up possessions, 15 and 3 marks. Danny Hargraves has kicked a couple of goals. He's had the 6 kicks and 5 marks. So it's been a good duel. A couple of youngsters making their way in the game. Leon Cameron, not a youngster. He's a star when fully fit. Kicks back, Hargraves, the high flyer. Mark's been taken here by Barker. So Fitzroy, they need the first goal of this last term. Gets it across to Morton from the half-back flank. It's a long penetrating kick looking for Primus versus Scotty Wine. Neither will be back marker at stall. Primus gets into the back of Wine, and we've got a ball up on the half-forward line.
I can't quite work out this forward pattern of Footscray this quarter. They've got Grigg out to centre half forward, Darcy to full forward, and Hargraves playing out of the pocket. I thought it's a strange one, that one.
Yeah, you'd think Darcy would be better off up the ground, wouldn't you? With his mobility.
I would have thought so. I'd have Grigg in the pocket. And still, Terry Wildstone's what he's doing.
And Scotty Wine takes the ruck infringement. Leah Grigg punched away by Dent. And a free kick is going to Scotty West.
Scotty West, last year's best and fairest winner for the Bulldogs, to take this free kick on the centre wing, outer side of the ground. Directs the ball towards centre half forward, where Wharf and Hargraves contest this mark. Almost Hargraves kicks it off the ground. Spills to Dent of Fitzroy, and the little kick around the corner finds Martin Pike.
And very good today, Pike.
And there's Pike coming in for kick number 12. Already had 20 possessions. There's a hand pass heading up with Peter Doyle. So some good run here by Fitzroy, getting the ball on that forward line. Spills over the top of Hogg. There's a lot of good pressure there by Fitzroy, keeping the ball on the forward line by Johnny Rombotis, and he's been rewarded with a free kick around about 35-40 metres out from goal. So Johnny Rombotis doing the hard work that you like to see the forwards do, Curls, there.
Yes.
To keep the ball in the forward line on Rowan Smith. The ball's caught underneath him. He didn't try to get rid of it, so the free kick goes to Johnny Rombotis.
The bad play went back before that with the mark taken by Footscray by a player, I can't remember who it was. He gave the handball off to the player that was running into trouble. But Rombotis full marks there because, as you say, he kept persevering.
Now Johnny Rombotis, 40 metres out, and puts Fitzroy's 4th goal on the board. Fitzroy, much improved effort after half-time. Fitzroy still leads 7-8-50, but Fitzroy coming back.
Giving them a sniff.
That's right, they're 4-9-33. So the margin down to 17 points, and Fitzroy definitely with a sniff.
Yes, it's a great game, football, and one of the things that makes it great, of course, is the uncertainty.
Fitzroy have only won one game this year. That was in round 8 against Fremantle. Primus, Bamford pounces on it. Fitzroy, first kick out of the centre square. Out in front there was Morton. Dwyer pounced on it. Great tackle by Smith. Back to Morton inside 50. Here come the Lions. Campbell playing in front.
It was good work there at half-back. I think it was
Chase.
Yeah, number 29, Griffin for Footscray, putting the pressure on there, putting the pressure on Danny Morton's kick.
Johnson from half-back flank. Looking for Darcy. Punched away by Barker. He's got time to set it up. He's got a loose player. Looks like Doyle. He's got it.
Out of bounds.
It's out of bounds. Couldn't keep it in.
Well, disappointing.
Just by a centimetre.
I'll tell you what, if Brisbane are looking at a player, they could do a lot worse than look at Johnny Barker in that top 8.
Well, he's got a bit of size, and he can take a mark. Kicked off the ground by Ramiro.
Oh.
Scotty West thought he had the free. Collingwood has been handy, centres the ball. It's a good kick. Boyd from behind went the mark 10. Pounced on it. He's got a chance to Atkins. Fitzroy coming forward. Here come the Lions. Long bomb. Dwyer, the high flyer. Back of the pack, McCarthy. Couldn't get there in time. Rombotis goes to ground. Wallace can clean up and kicks the ball long. Pike. Been a terrific play from Fitzroy all year. Just about win their best and fairest. Weira slaps it off the ground. Johnson caught one high. Advantage paid. Liberatore in the centre square. And Darcy's got it.
Looks like Darcy may be out the centre half forward. Your call earlier, Curls.
He's got more mobility than the bigger fella.
Yes, and look at that kick from Luke Darcy. Tremendous delivery into the forward line. Hargraves on the lead, takes the mark in front of Rowan Wharf. A very impressive player, Luke Darcy. Of course, the son of one of the Footscray champs of the past, Dave Darcy.
Yes.
Played in the late 60s and early 70s.
He dropped out of the game at the third quarter, Darcy, and he needs to promote himself again this quarter. Now, can this boy kick the distance?
Well, they'll be kicking from around about the 55-metre mark and probably favoured by the breeze. So I would think that he has every chance of making the distance here, Hargraves. Here's the kick from about 53 metres, 54 metres, just touched on the line.
Yes, had accuracy. Fitzroy have just got to watch themselves here. Fitzroy coming home pretty strong.
So the Bulldogs by 18 points. Dent. He's going to kick the ball straight down the centre of the ground. Scott Barker was a target. Atkins, the veteran on hands and knees. Pike appeals for the free kick.
I think Atkins has since moved to the half-forward area has been far more productive at Fitzroy. I don't see him as a half-back flank player.
Darcy gets it across to Weira. Danger here for Fitzroy. This is a long bomb. Just off target.
I think also, Curls, that Fitzroy's improved since they got a bit of pace back in the back line as well.
Yeah, Johnson back there.
Johnson back there.
Pike has been very strong all day.
And Wolf's got a lot of pace.
7:10:52 Footscray. Fitzroy 4:9:33. Boyd was a target. Liberatore. It's a quick kick. Coming out strongly was Carter. Forced the crumb. Bamford, a lively player for the Lions. Kicks down, looking for Primus, does well. Clever play, taps onto Dwyer, caught by Wind. Griffin takes the ball over.
There's Callett back on the ground for Footscray. Johnny Russo, who came off? Johnny, who did you see?
Let's go down to Johnny Russo, the change at the bench, John.
I didn't pick up who came off KB, to be perfectly honest. I was watching the boundary throw in the opposite end of the ground.
So from that boundary throw in, Dwyer. He's blind over the top, so we've got a ball up once more.
He's dropped out of the game for Fitzroy Dwyer in the second half. He was very productive early. But they're the players that have to keep producing.
So boundary throw, the ball up in the Fitzroy's forward area. A hurry kick by Boyd. Very difficult for the forwards with the sun streaming into their eyes from that side of the ground. And Chris Grant
It's amazing
happy to see the ball over the boundary line.
An hour ago it was the rain. Now it's the sun. It's incredible the conditions they have to play under.
We've had 4 seasons in one afternoon.
It's about the first time we've really seen the sun in a month in Melbourne. So Primus takes the ball out of the ruck, tries to get the hand pass away to Hogg. Hogg gets it off to Morton. Morton to Simon Atkins. They've had plenty of the ball in this second half, Fitzroy, and done a fair bit of the attacking, but that could be out of bounds on the full. It is.
I think you'd have to say, I'd say 60% of the second half the ball has been in Fitzroy's forward area.
So Griffin to take the free kick out of the back pocket.
And he hugs the boundary line. Darcy pushed out his opponent. Great tackle by Pike, a sign of strength. Cameron goes short. Looking for Hargraves, does well on the half volley. Bamford the tackler. Fitzroy fans wanted a free. Cameron kicks down towards Collingwood, a terrific mark in front of Johnson.
You cannot let a little strong player play in front of you. Johnson must play in front of this boy.
So making space was Cameron. Came from behind the kicker. Leon Cameron puts it out in front. Doyle pushes out his opponent. Back to Dent. So the Fitzroy defence working overtime in the second half. It's a poor kick. Darcy goes very short to Callett. Maybe a danger signs here for Fitzroy. Hargraves, good fist away. Bamford once more. Roving the front of the pack well, pounced on it. Crediuk overruns the ball. Primus didn't have it. Shoveled out by Smith. Weira, quick kick back to 50. Terrific grab by Worry in front. And that'll be 50 metres.
No, it was a good mark, but no, I don't think it'll be 50 metres.
Well, it was a good mark by Wolf. Why would it be 50?
No, because I think the umpire gave the boy the benefit of the doubt that the mark was questionable.
Fair enough, girls. So Wolf taking the kick from centre half back and spots it to the skipper, Brad Boyd. Only 24 years of age, Brad Boyd. Made the appointed skipper at Fitzroy when he was only 23. So that kick out of defence coming there from Matthew Dent. Play on, calls the umpire. First hands was Crediuk on the ball there, so no mark awarded to Scotty White. On the turnover, it's Luke Darcy on the outer side of the ground, brings the ball into the centering position, centre half forward, and Hargraves in front takes a very comfortable mark. If he looks around quickly, he can get it to Colin Hook, getting back his Baldwin, giving away a free kick. Good play by Hargraves. Quite often, girls, you see players who take a mark like Hargraves did at centre half forward, go back where they're back to the play. He had a quick look, and the play was on there to get the ball to Steve Collinyook. He did just that, and really Jason Baldwin had no other option. He had to get back and put the pressure on. So
he had to make a contest, and unfortunately it was an unfair one in the eyes of the umpire, correctly so. And this could be the sealer for Footscray.
A couple of changes. Quill back on for Footscray, and Marty Worry warming up on the bench for Fitzroy. So Steve Collinyook to have this kick from no further than 20 metres out from goal. Should be a second goal of the Bulldogs. 7 goals on the board for Footscray. Now they've got their 8th. So Footscray go to 8-10, 58, leading Fitzroy 4-9-33.
Gee, they've had to work hard for it. They've had to. That's that kick at the young Darcy across to Hargraves. That's the third absolute spot-on pinpoint pass he's done today. He's got a beautiful kicking style, and Hargraves very alert, as you pointed out, Bernie, to get the ball on to the boy in a better position. They needed that goal to steady them up.
We see young Worry coming onto the ground. Let's go down to John Russo and find out who's come off.
Off was, as soon as I looked through the sheet, it was Mark Dwyer.
Mark Dwyer.
And no problem, so he's not injured. He's just come off to give Marty Worry a run.
So Boyd out of the centre square. Bamford has been a fine player for Fitzroy. Smith to Wallace. Callett. They can raffle this. So Nigel Callett kicks a long bomb down towards the half-forward line. Baldwin over the top. Boundary throw-in.
There's only a short period to go, and I don't think Fitzroy can win the footy match, but there's to be hoped they'll just keep persevering and keep their enthusiasm up.
Footscray by 25 points. Finished strongly last week over Collingwood. And another boundary throw-in on the half-forward flank for Footscray.
Just difficult to find where Fitzroy can get back in.
Darcy gets it down to Cameron, who's got better as the game's gone on. Back to 50, Hargraves. Went through the fingertips, Collingwood. It's been dangerous all day.
Fine game.
Doyle shows strength. Atkins, he's under pressure. He'll have 2 to beat. Weira. He's got support. Ron Bottas does well, makes it a contest. Good tackle by Weira. Romero on 50. Good punch away. Dent. Back to Chandler. Johnson taken over the line by Bamford. Ron Bottas. A good grab.
A courageous mark there by John Ron Bottas. A good young player, recruited from the VSFL. Through the hands of Quill there, that kick coming from Ron Bottas. And Brad Boyd in all sorts of trouble. Set upon by Peter Quill, Brad Johnson and Steve Wallace. So another boundary throw-in. Around about 65 metres from Footscray's goal, member side of the ground.
Tony, why is it that we don't see any, well, Kevin in particular, any real class rovers in the AFL at the moment?
Well, I suppose what we've seen is medium-sized players like ruck rovers becoming on ballers. And we've seen a lot of tagging, a lot of run-with players over the last couple of years. But certainly in Victoria, we've had a dearth of what we class as top rovers. In the mould of the Johnny Plattons and Tony Francis, those sorts of players.
Exactly. McCarthy somehow gets the ball out to Morton, but leading in the race for the ball at full-back is Tony Campbell. Out to Nigel Callett, the short kick from Callett. He is spot on and finds Chris Grant at half-back for the Bulldogs. And a very good player this afternoon for the Dogs. Chrissy Grant goes long, flips it down the member side of the ground. A bit of a push out there by Darcy, but the mark is allowed. Quickly off to Peter Quill, around his body on the left side, and Peter Doyle takes the defensive mark for the Lions. He gets it off pretty quick to Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson is forced to kick around the member side of the ground. Not many options when you handball to the outside, KB. And at the turnover there, a bit of pushing and shoving, and the crowd really screaming out for the free kick there against Hargraves, I think it was, doing the shoving. Here's Leon Cameron, hand pass to Tony Liberatore. There's the kick there, and on the end of that kick from Tony Liberatore is Brad Johnson. Turns it around very quickly, as we said earlier, and finds Steve Collimuir, who was about 40 metres out from goal. Hurried kick there from Collimuir, spots Leon Cameron.
Yes, they're very tired, the Fitzroy boys now. I think they've given up to try and win this footy match.
Yeah, it's probably well without outside their reach now, Curls. 25 points the margin, and under 7 minutes remaining on the clock. So Leon Cameron coming in for his first goal of the afternoon. Will kick from about 40 metres. There's the kick from Cameron. It's not a good kick. Uses well to the left, and in fact, really just.
Strange kicking action.
Yeah, really just gets in for the point. He's a natural right footer, Curls, but he's much better on his left side.
That's terrible, that kicking action.
He hasn't played a lot of footy this year, just playing his 6th game. Last year he was the Age Footballer of the Year. So he's been missed by Footscray, not being out there for the entire season. Taken away by Wharf. It's a beautiful kick. The ball went inside the centre square. Can Fitzroy set it up? The kick once more is a poor one and favours Credial. So with some rebound football, Wallace, the veteran, can set it up to Credial. So loose players for Footscray. Darcy takes a falling mark. So the Bulldogs now sensing victory. Watts, good spoil by Dent. Back to Rowan Smith. A hurried kick through for a minor score.
Kev, just going back to that roving situation, the reason I say that, you look at I guess the best rovers in the VFL, AFL over the last 10 years have been Platten, McGuinness, Francis, and none of those come from Victoria.
Oh, I was waiting for that, Curls.
No, look, I'm just saying, why haven't they found some good ones?
That's a good point, Curls, because even when the State of Origin games were on a couple of years ago, the biggest concern for Victoria was the fact that they didn't have true rovers that South Australia had.
Well, I can't work with the population.
And the point you made, KB, about the matchups and so forth these days, it's really the roving, I suppose, position is not what it used to be.
No, you're right. There's a lot more tactical planning.
Exactly. Boundary throw in. Scotty Wine in front doing the ruck work, and I think he will win this free kick. Primus reaching over the top. So if you put your body in front, Curls, I suppose if there's a free kick going to be awarded, you're the one that's most likely to receive it.
Yes, there's a fine line that you still can't hold back and block.
So Scotty Wine, centre wing, member side of the ground, kicks him to the forward line. Pike in front, couldn't take the mark. Cleaned up by Brady Chandler. He brings it around the boundary, and a terrific pass finds Marty Worry. Marty Worry, only a young player. Good to see him get a chance, Marty Worry. Shows a bit of promise. The long kick and getting back and taking a solid mark in front of the pack there is Steve Credial.
Played well today, this boy.
Yes, he's a solid member of the Footscray defence, Credial. Romero couldn't control the ball there in the slippery part of the ground. Taken by Bamford, a very pacey player for Fitzroy, and a very good pickup. And one of the real pacey ones to one of the slow ones in Peter Doyle, but he gets the kick away. Steve Wallace in the sandpit there. Hand pass out to Scotty West, and he's Bamford, the real runner in this Fitzroy side. He's improved the Fitzroy side a bit, I would say, and that's a terrific kick to McCarthy in the forward line. McCarthy doesn't waste any time, gets it around his body to Chris Johnson, who's run down from half back, and his opponent is, I would say,
Steve Collimuir.
120 metres behind him, right in the centre circle at the moment. So good work by McCarthy to get the ball on quickly. And not a big crowd here this afternoon, KB. 8,757 at the Whitten Oval. As Chris Johnson comes in and kicks Fitzroy's 5th goal for the afternoon.
Well, they certainly haven't given up, Fitzroy. They've kept applying pressure as Jeff Holt coming off, who's had a disappointing stint on the ground. I think he's only had the one possession.
Yes, well, he had a quiet one last week also, didn't he, Curls, in Adelaide?
Yes,
Mellington back on the ground. And the score at the moment, Footscray 8-12-60, leads Fitzroy 5-9-39. But it's been a much better second half by the Lions.
I'm a bit surprised young Johnson hasn't done more of that to run forward and take a chance.
Footscray by 21 points. Just over 4 minutes of action left. It's been a spirited Fitzroy in the second half. Wobbly old kick from Primus down towards the half-forward line. McCarthy kick off the ground. Weira does the blocking for Crediuk. Forced over the line.
I guess if you have your centre half forward well held on the day and your full forward not offering much, it makes it very difficult to score goals.
Yes, McCarthy only the 4 kicks and 3 handballs, so he's had a pretty quiet afternoon against Chris Grant. But again, Curls, I suppose, you know, if you see the conditions as we saw earlier in the day, they were really made for the backmen, weren't they?
They were made. They're very difficult for the forwards.
So Primus versus Wine. Fitzroy have been competitive in the second half. Wallace back to Weira. Good strong play by Pike. Boyd, who's battled hard for the Lions. Worry over the top.
Had the sit.
He's a strong mark, Marty Worry. At end-to-end at training last year, he used to take some terrific marks in there. He was getting the fly over the top of Brad Johnson.
Yes, he had to sit there. The percentage was entirely in his favour. Now let's see if he can finish his work off.
Well, he's never kicked a goal in league footy, so this could be a big moment for the kid. We're kicking from 40 metres out.
Not too high.
It's floating, it's floating. He's kicked it. That's always a great thrill in your league career.
I'm pretty happy with that. You've got to admire Fitzroy. They just haven't given up. They've kept persevering, particularly in their second half. They outplayed the first half, clearly by Footscray. But in the second half, they've kept persevering. They've attacked the ball hard. They've worked hard in numbers. They've just lacked some quality forwards to finish their work off. But they've taken the game right up to Footscray.
And the good news for Marty Worry is that he's only now 1,099 goals behind Tony Lockett. He booted 5 today for Sydney. So Fitzroy within 15 points. 3 minutes to go. Can they win, Curls?
No, I don't think they can win, but they're making things very uncomfortable for Footscray.
Well, the margin was 15 points at quarter time. It is again 15 points with just over 3 minutes remaining on the clock in this last quarter. So it's been a spirited fight back by the Lions in this second half. And again, the ball up there, and Primus working his body in position there, getting the knockout. And really just knocked out of the pack there by Fitzroy. Good one-handed pick-up by McCarthy, who handballs to Brady Chandler. A bit of an ordinary kick there by Brett Chandler. Kept it low. Warwick could have given away a free kick diving in there bottom first, but nothing doing, says the umpire.
It's been their finish with the ball, particularly with the hands and the short kicking. Let's let Fitzroy down today.
It has. The 2 big blokes go out again. Primus wins this ruck out. He's done pretty well against Scotty Wine today. Matthew Primus.
Yes, he had a big battle. He had Brigitte there for a while in the third quarter, and he stood up to his task very well.
7 hit-outs to Primus, 9 to Wine, so they haven't had a big influence on the game, Curls.
No, they have not.
And again, the throw up by the umpire over the top and roving it beautifully is Atkins around the boundary line and making it easy for Campbell. I think the kick there coming from Atkins should have been more into the centre of the ground, Curls.
Exactly right.
And when you kick it into the pocket there on a one-on-one contest, he got very little chance.
Exactly right. I think he tried to turn the ball, but just didn't quite do it correctly enough. See, Johnson's gone forward again here now, and Crediuk has to follow him.
Another chance for Fitzroy to score. Wind playing in front. It's all tied up. And the temper's becoming a little bit frayed.
He's a spirited performer, Chris Johnson. He'll be a handy pickup for Brisbane.
So the ball is thrown up. Players tumble on top of one another.
A lot of tiredness there now, Kevin. It's been a pretty hard slog today in heavy conditions. And I think the players will appreciate that hot shower.
Footscray 8-12-60, the lead by 15 points. Fitzroy 6-9-45. Atkins, quick snap out of the pack, across the face of goals. Diving Grant.
Yes, Grant's had a pretty quiet second half. I don't know what his stats are in the second half, but they'd be down. He's only had, 9 possessions for the day. And I guess most of those came in the first half.
Campbell gets the ball out towards Johnson. Got back up in Quill. Clears the ball wide. It's a great clearing kick. Gets some run as well. Scotty West happy to paddle the ball over the line. So with exactly 1 minute of action left in this game, Footscray is going to win what's been a spirited performance by both Footscray and Fitzroy. In particular Fitzroy, who at half-time trailed by 26 points and looked to be looking at maybe a big defeat.
It's the game in the bag now for the Bulldogs. Tony Liberatore doing the hard work at the bottom of the pack, as he always does. Gets it out to Nigel Callett. He kicks around his body. Over there, affecting the spoil, is Jason Baldwin. And we'll see another boundary throw-in. Outer side of the ground, centre wing. So the boundary throw-in. Hymus and Wine again going at it. Wine getting his body in front and doing well to get the ball out to Cameron. He kicks around his body. Darcy with the tap on. Clever work by Darcy. He's been a good player at half forward, and that must be a free kick surely to Rowan Wharf. And the Footscray player hurt himself. A bit of a crude tackle there. It might be Nigel Callett. Pretty hard to see who it was there, but Martin Pike takes it at half back. A long kick into the forward line, and Chris Grant, using his body well, just nudges McCarthy out of the contest and takes a strong chest mark. Now it was Rowan Smith, the player, who hurt himself in that crude tackle over the other side of the ground. And Steve Wallace runs it out from half back, gets it to Steve Collingham. 4 seconds left on the clock. This will be a win to Footscray. There goes the siren as Luke Darcy has the last kick of the game. With a terrifically spirited performance by the Lions to come back in the second half. Final scores at the Witten Oval. Footscray 8-12-60, Fitzroy 6-9-45. And a pretty good effort, you'd say, Kells, in the second half by Fitzroy to fight back the way they did. 26 points the margin at half-time, 15 points the margin at the final siren. And as they did in the second half last week, they won again that second half against Footscray, as they did last week against Adelaide.
Yes, it was a very spirited second half, and I think Alan O'Connell would be disappointed he's lost the game, but he could be disappointed with the way his players went about trying to win it. We know that Fitzroy do lack a bit of class, and that showed that they got the ball in their forward zone on numerous occasions in the second half. I'd say 60-70% of the time they just couldn't score the necessary goals to win the football match.
A couple of bonuses today from Footscray. I thought the form of Leon Cameron, who's missed a lot of football. Steve Collingham, I thought today played one of his better games for the year. And we see Simon Atkins on screen there, who was one of the favourite sons of Footscray. Now with Fitzroy, just a bit of a word of encouragement there from Stevie Wallace. Fitzroy leaving the field. Chris Grant came down, kicked a great goal in that second term. Brad Weir also leading him up the race. He's in his first season with Footscray. So a pretty happy throng out here at the Witten Oval, with Footscray able to pull off a 15-point win. Terry Wallace has won his second game now as coach, and he's looking forward to coaching Footscray next year, and if he can finish off the season with another 1 or 2 wins, well then he might have the job next season. Let's go down to John Russo on the boundary line. He's speaking with a young gun from Footscray, Brad Johnson.
Yeah, KB, as you said, I've got Brad Johnson down with me, and certainly in the first half he was a dominating player. Brad, how do you enjoy today?
Yeah, no, it's good to get a win on the board. It's been a while since we've won, and it's good to beat Fitzroy. Yeah.
Brad, what stage did you really feel as though you had the game in hand?
Oh, not till the final siren.
Yeah, it was the way. The last stat I heard for you was 16 possessions during the second quarter, or up until the second quarter.
27
possessions.
possessions.
In the second half a little?
Oh, yeah, just a few moves around and had to sort of tighten up a bit. It went up as much.
Well, we're getting overrun by kids here, so on your 18th game in a row for the season, and 48 for the year.
A good job down there by John Russo, who's just been stampeded upon. Of course, when he was an umpire, he often used to get stampeded upon by coaches who obviously a bit upset with John Russo, one of our top umpires now, doing a fantastic job with us on the football commentary. We'll take a break. We'll come back with Neil Curley's thoughts on this big game. Footscray 8-12-60, Fitzroy 6-9-45.